Look at your hands. The lines etched into your palms. The exact second you took your first breath under a specific alignment of stars. What if I told you that the choices you're making right now, the midlife anxiety, keeping you awake at 3 a.m., the sudden urge to burn your current life to the ground, were already hardwired into your system before you even left the womb? It sounds terrifying, right? In the mid-70s, an astrologer named Gavin Arthur sat down with a quiet, polite young man and looked at his birth chart. He saw a terrifying cosmic alignment, a rare, volatile configuration of Mars and Pluto that practically screamed predatory violence. That polite young man was Ted Bundy. This leaves us with a brutal, unavoidable paradox. If the cosmos predestines a monster, do we actually have free will? Or are we just biological puppets acting out a cosmic script we didn't write? I used to stare at the ceiling during my own sleepless nights, feeling that exact same existential dread. You cross into your 40s or 50s, you check all the boxes of the American dream, the suburban house, the stable career, the Netflix subscription, and yet, there's this haunting whisper inside. Is this it? Am I just an automated algorithm running on a faulty operating system? We desperately want to believe we are the captains of our ships. But when you look at the astrological blueprints of history's darkest minds, you see a repetitive, mathematical precision that shatters that illusion. It makes you wonder if that shadow, that silent destructive impulse you fight within yourself during your darkest hours, is just a piece of unchangeable code deeply embedded in your spiritual DNA. But here is where the matrix cracks open. Ancient Eastern wisdom didn't view these cosmic charts as an unescapable prison sentence. They viewed them as a diagnostic report of your inherited karmic data. The stars don't compel you. They merely reflect the momentum of your past momentum. If you don't know how to read the code, you become its slave, whether that means ending up in a maximum security cell like Bundy, or spending the rest of your days trapped in a loop of quiet desperation. In this video, we are going to do some serious karmic debugging. I'm going to show you exactly how the ultimate master of behavioral psychology, the Buddha, decoded this cosmic setup, and how you can use his ancient blueprint to hack your own system, rewrite your destiny, and finally break free from the hardwired trap. Think about your typical Tuesday evening. You've just finished a exhausting 10-hour shift corporate job, paid your mortgage bills, and now you're sitting on your premium leather couch, mindlessly scrolling through Netflix. You have everything society told you to want. Yet, there's this heavy, suffocating emptiness in your chest. It's the midlife glitch. You feel like a background actor in your own life movie. We buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people we don't like. We think we are making conscious choices. But in reality, our dopamine receptors have been completely hijacked by a giant, invisible social algorithm. You aren't living. You are just maintaining an expensive prison cell built by your own ego. Let me tell you a secret, friend to friend. I've been down in that exact same dark hole. I remember standing in front of my sink late at night, surrounded by a mountain of greasy dishes, with my smartphone propped against the faucet. I was listening to a podcast about quantum mechanics while checking my digital revenue charts every 20 seconds. My body was in the kitchen, but my mind was lost somewhere in a digital matrix. I was completely terrified of silence. I was terrified of being alone with my own thoughts because, beneath all that modern noise, my inner voice was screaming that I was completely stuck. I realized I was running a faulty software update in my head, trying to cure a profound existential hunger with cheap, empty notifications. That is the exact moment the trap becomes visible. We think guys like Ted Bundy or Charles Manson are the only ones trapped by a dark cosmic code. But look closer at your own daily routine. Every time you pick up your phone to escape 5 seconds of boredom, every time you scream inside traffic while driving to a job you hate, you are acting out a hardwired script. You are reacting exactly how the algorithm wants you to react. Your anger, your anxiety, your midlife dread, they aren't actually your choices. They are just automated system responses of an unexamined ego. We are all sleepwalking through a beautifully designed simulation, completely blind to the fact that the prison doors are wide open, and the keys have been inside our own pockets the entire time. Look at your major life choices. That sudden career shift at 40, that bitter divorce, or that persistent feeling of unfulfillment despite a high-paying salary. We call it free will. But if we look at astrology charts of historical figures, we see those exact same patterns of crisis. In astrology, the hard angles of Saturn and Uranus don't just spark global chaos, they trigger internal revolutions. When you feel a sudden, uncontrollable urge to destroy everything you built, it isn't a random thought. It is a pre-programmed transit hitting your chart. You aren't active driver. You are just a passenger in a vehicle controlled by cosmic data, reacting exactly on cue, while believing you are in total control. I used to believe I was the absolute master of my destiny. I spent years building businesses, managing digital platforms, and striving for financial metrics. But during a severe midnight burnout, staring at a blank screen while my system crashed, I had to face a brutal reality. I was deeply terrified of failure because my own inner ego was completely dependent on external validation. I was running a psychological loop of survival anxiety, a script likely passed down through generations. I realized that my ambition wasn't true freedom. It was an automated reaction to an old trauma. I was no different from a broken algorithm, repeating the same cycle of stress and seeking the next dopamine hit. This is where the astrological chart of a killer becomes a profound mirror for us. People like Ted Bundy didn't fail because they had dark transits. They failed because they completely identified with the dark data. They let the cosmic software run without an operator. When you experience a midlife crisis, you are facing a similar choice. You can let the inherited karmic code dictate your downfall, or you can step back and become the observer of the code. The ancient teachings tell us that your chart is merely the weather forecast, not your ultimate identity. The moment you stop reacting to the internal noise and ask, who is actually watching this anxiety? The entire cosmic matrix begins to lose its grip on your soul. Think about the legendary myth of the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. He possessed 72 supernatural transformations, could somersault 84,000 miles in a single leap, and held a weapon that could shatter mountains. He looked at the heavens and thought he could conquer the universe itself. To an American mind, Wukong is the ultimate symbol of the self-made entrepreneur, the rugged individualist, the ambitious high achiever crashing through midlife corporate goals. We modern people do the exact same thing. We optimize our morning routines, download every productivity app, attend high-ticket biohacking seminars, and map out our investment strategies. We genuinely believe that if we just fight harder, push faster, and accumulate more control, we can finally outrun our existential dread. But here is where the mythological cosmic script turns absolutely brutal. Wukong flew to what he believed was the very edge of the cosmic matrix. He found 5 massive flesh-colored pillars stretching into the deep void. Thought he had reached the absolute boundary of freedom, and even left a personal mark on one of them to prove his absolute independence. But when he returned to challenge the supreme authority, the Buddha simply opened his hand. Those 5 cosmic pillars were nothing more than the Buddha's fingers. The Monkey King had never left the palm of that silent, unmoving presence. I remember sitting at my desk when this realization hit me like a physical punch. Every single strategic plan I made, every digital empire I tried to build to escape my anxiety, was just me scratching my name on the fingers of my own ego prison. This is the hidden psychological war. Your ego is an incredibly sophisticated defensive system. When it realizes you are trying to break free from the midlife algorithm, it doesn't fight you directly. It morphs. It turns your spiritual journey into another competitive corporate game. It makes you want to become the best meditator, the most awakened person, or the coolest minimalist on your social feed. It's a brilliant system upgrade, designed to keep you trapped in the loop of doing, striving, and burning out. You are using the exact same mind that created the virus to fix the software crash. We are caught in a terrifying loop. The harder we fight for control, the tighter the cosmic handcuffs grip our wrists. The battle lines are drawn, and the enemy is wearing your own face. Look closely at the cosmic trap we've been dissecting. We look at the birth charts of mass murderers and feel a comfortable distance, thinking, that's them, not me. But here is the terrifying twist that the ancient archives and deep psychological behavioral studies have been hiding from you. The exact same hardwired system running a serial killer is running your midlife crisis right now. It's the illusion of the doer. We think we are the ones choosing to feel anxious, choosing to fix our lives, or choosing to search for spiritual enlightenment. It's a total lie. The cosmic data isn't just threatening your prison cell. The cosmic data is your mind, your personality, your preferences, your deepest midlife fears. They are just mechanical reactions of an unexamined operating system running completely on autopilot. I remember sitting in absolute silence after discovering this system error. I looked at my own hands. The same hands that built businesses and optimized algorithms, and a cold sweat broke out down my spine. I realized that the person I called me, the strategic thinker, the ambitious creator, the one trying so desperately to escape the matrix, was actually just another program within the matrix. It was like a software program trying to rewrite its own source code while it's still running. It's mathematically impossible. Your ego convinces you that it is the guard protecting you from the dark transits of your astrological chart. But the truth is much more sinister. The ego is the prison guard. It keeps you locked in a perpetual civil war, fighting monsters that it manufactured just to keep itself employed. This is the absolute peak of the internal war. The matrix doesn't break because you become stronger than it. It breaks because you realize the entity fighting it is an illusion. When a killer submits to his dark planetary alignments, he becomes a monster. When an average modern person submits to their societal conditioning, they become a well-behaved ghost in a cubicle. Both are completely enslaved by the code. But when you finally stop fighting, stop projecting, and simply watch the chaos without reacting, the entire mechanical structure begins to overheat. You aren't the angry thoughts, you aren't the midlife panic, and you certainly aren't the lines on a Babylonian astrological map. You are the silent space in which all these programs exist. The illusion of control must die completely before the true sovereign within you can finally tack. Here is the final payoff, the massive twist that changes everything. You are not the driver of your mind. You aren't even the one thinking your thoughts. Think about it. When an anxious thought about your future pops into your head at 3 a.m., did you consciously choose to create it? No. It just appeared, running on an automatic karmic circuit like an pop-up ad on a sketchy website. The cosmic chart of a serial killer is just a dense stream of toxic data, and your midlife anxiety is a stream of survival data. But you are the silent screen displaying the movie, not the characters fighting on it. When you realize that you don't own the data completely loses its power to control you. When I first understood this, the heavy burden I carried for years just evaporated. I used to think I had to fight my shadow, repair my flaws, and force myself to be peaceful. What an exhausting lie. I remember sitting on my porch, watching a violent thunderstorm roll over the horizon, and it finally clicked. The sky doesn't try to fix the storm. The sky just allows the storm to pass through it, while remaining completely untouched. Your true self, your original Buddha nature, is that sky. Siddhartha Gautama wasn't a god who erased human suffering. He was a real human being who felt intense pain, faced his own deep psychological shadows, and discovered that he was simply the unmoving space holding it all. You don't need a new software patch. You just need to realize you are the operator, not the machine. So, how do we practical debug this cosmic setup tomorrow morning. Here is your immediate action step. Step the next time that familiar wave of midlife panic hits you, or that old unchangeable urge to self-destruct rises up. Do not fight it, and do not obey it. Just label it. Look directly at the anxiety and silently say to yourself, "Ah, there is the old survival program running again." By doing this, you instantly step out of the hardwired matrix. You decouple your awareness from the ego's algorithm. The DNA of the devil only thrives when it's hidden in the dark of your unconscious reaction. The moment you shine the steady golden light of pure observation on it, the code breaks. The celestial gears stop grinding you down, and you finally step into the absolute sovereignty of your own life.